Hello guys, this is Great Entertainer and I'm here to entertain you as always. So, I'm gonna be reading a creepypasta from Reddit's No Sleep named I'm a guard stationed at a secret government prison a few hours ago. There was a major breach. And this is apparently a series. So we're gonna be reading two of these. And the link that will be in the description will be the first part. So yeah, there are links in it for the second part as well. So yeah. And don't read anything, cause very likely I will continue it. Yeah, very likely, but very likely it is not to. So you know what? We'll see. I'm gonna read all of it cause, I don't know, I'm a gangster or something. So, who's the worst, most despicable person you can think of? Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Luis Garavito, Pol Pot. I haven't heard of Pol Pot. Somebody, that's a weird name, okay? Of course, you can make your own arguments for any one of them, for anybody else for that matter. Yet, all of these people have one thing in common: they're human. Preposterous people trying to act like monsters, either due to low-fee, ridiculous ideals or some primal urge to revolt against the society as a whole. It's quite the bizarre phenomenon. Yet one of these, admittedly sick people, have truly fallen into the abyss. Perhaps they're stared down into it, dipped their feet in. But none of them have taken the plunge as a whole. Despite their efforts, they weren't able to separate themselves from their inherent humanity. But that's a good thing. They were relatively easy to take down. The bad news is that every once in a while, special cases will arise. In our circles, we call these individuals the void people, or just voids. Individuals so far gone that they can hardly be considered humans anymore. What? The cause behind the entities like this? Well, I wouldn't know. Nobody really cares. Maybe they were born with that latent potential. Maybe they underwent some obscure supernatural transformation. Maybe their experiments gone awry. Aliens from another planet. Maybe they're boobity. Maybe they're literal demonetization from hello, brought here by some fool who just had to conduct some fun up ritual. Who they help knows. The only deal that matters is the fact that they exist, and dealing with them is more than a beast. I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of max security prisons, places where drug kingpins, demonetization, I said terrorists and prolific serial watchers are sent. The places are meant to contain the worst amongst humans. Well, those are a joke compared to where the voids are kept. Add a pair of undisclosed coordinates built in the underground of the tiny islands somewhere deep in the Atlantic. There exists a region unlike anything you could imagine. We simply call it the Chasm. What's that? a penitentiary for pure, unbridled evil. A collective evil that would surely wield humanity's extinction in a couple of months if it were allowed to run rampant in the world. Let me emphasize a bit further. The individuals that require being held here are not merely criminally insane. They are criminally, absolutely, out of this universe freaking bonkers. What's that? Whatever. Of course, you wouldn't know about any of this, would you? Why would you? The government would probably sacrifice 1,000 children before they would divulge a single detail about the place to a person without high enough clearance. But you know that's just how they are. Before I came, there were exactly 32 being confined here, save for 2 that were being actively pursued through the Basilian underground and the Rashan tundra respectively. That was about all of them in the world. At least we assumed that was all of them. We can't be sure about anything these days. Its holding cell was fortified to help, especially designed to counter and contain the respective void they were holding. If they managed to escape, there were 8 drones armed with Gatling guns, blades, grenades, and rockets waiting for them within a large chamber. Oh. Okay? I would really like to see somebody break through that. If they managed to break through that, okay. Then 20 guards with mechanized suits would have to step in. Okay. However, everybody understood the futility of that protocol. Those guards were getting slaughtered in seconds, regardless of the void they went up against. What? Maybe minutes if they were really skilled. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure why any of us regular guards are stationed here. Burun crazy, I guess. What's that? Whatever. Who knows what the government's thinking? If the situation were ever to get too drastic, then there was really one feasible countermeasure in place. Last resort, so to speak. The higher-ups would call something known as the Task Force Void Nova Hammer, okay, or TFVNAIDS for short, okay. That's not short at all. How am I supposed to say that? Okay, that would really be hard to say without saying it in letters, whatever. I've never seen them in action before, nor do I know much about them. Not that I really want to, though. If you ever find yourself witnessing them in person, then that must mean you're having a bad day. So, why am I disclosing all of this uber classified information that would get me either killed or thrown in the deepest hole conceivable for the rest of my short life? I'd estimate that there's about 90% chance that I'm gonna die by the end of the day. And even if I do make it out of this fiasco, my life's never gonna be really the same. So, frick it. Here we go. My diet, yeah, my diet started out more or less normal. I was part of the unit guarding somebody named Jim Henniger, Well, that was his real name. Doesn't evoke a lot of fear, does it? Yeah. That's why we had to call him something else. Since he used to be a psychosurgeon or something, we've dubbed him the surgeon. Real creative stuff. yeah, it's really creative. I know. Sounding and 1 meter and 71 or 5 and 7 is it foot, 135 pounds, aka 61 kilograms. We were all required to memorize their physical stats. Why do you have to memorize all that? Whatever. He doesn't look like much. However, if you ever find yourself in the same room with him, no matter how big and tough you are, you're getting dissected or something. The main danger surrounding him stems from the fact that he seems to be able to teleport on will. What? Teleport on will. It read just that. Let me show you. Teleport on will. I thought I was looking at some Prison Break thing. I'm not. So where was I? 1 second you're staring at his dark, lifeless eyes, and after one blink, poof, he disappeared in a cloud of black haze, only to end up breathing right down your neck. For that reason, there's gonna be at least 10 sets of eyes on his monitor at all times. There's no way around it. If he's not being watched, he'll escape. Oh, it's like an SCP, the one that the one SCP that will, when you close your eyes, will kill you. But he has 10 people watching him, not 2. Whatever. This reminds SCP Foundation a lot, and doesn't seem real. Okay, I would rather thinking that somebody would be like super clever and he would do something and he will kill you some way. But no, I'm not gonna see this today. Too bad. He is also kind of unkillable. Oh. No matter how many bullets you put through his head or blades you plunge to his chest, this guy won't croak. And once he gets the scalpel on his hands, oh boy. Oh, of course, he's just one of 32, comparatively speaking. On the tamer side, with that said, my guard shift ended out without any incident. Routine stuff. Following that, I went on break in this lunchroom with my buddy Sandhu. Our conversations were usually pretty dry. At least I can talk to the guy. It's hard to get along with any other guard. They're weird, in one way or another. Anyway, lunch was usually the most enjoyable thing in a day of working in the Chasm. But I didn't really enjoy the blaring fun alarm and deafening, repeating automated voice blasting the world braids that went off right as I was about to take my chili out of my microwave. I could see Sandhu's face and drop, and the disturbance. You're flapping kidding me? He mouthed. He's a mouth. No, I'd only ever experienced one minor brace up until that point, and it was from the surgeon. I guess none of us were paying any attention that day. He made it out 8 miles off the coast with a stolen boat. Why do you need a boat when you can teleport? Why? Racking up a total body count of 145 in his wake. It took 3 full days to wrangle him back, and 4 more weeks to fix all the damage he had done to the infrastructure. That was all just one prisoner. Well, if we're dealing with 3 or more, then our combined effort as guards wouldn't have stood a semblance of a chance. There had only been one major break in the Chasm's history, in which 8 voids had broken out, nearly simulate something, whatever. It was also apparently the only time that TFVN aids had to step in. This was around 12 years ago, long before I became a guard myself. The aftermath of that, I don't have a high enough clearance to know, but I'm willing to bet that it was nothing fun. Well, I would measure it would be 10,000 kills at least. Yeah. We did have a breach procedure. It was a lengthy document outlining exactly what we're supposed to do and where we're supposed to go. I've read it before, and it's garbage. It has essentially predicted on the idea that we're cannon fodder, and we're obligated to do whatever we can do to contain these prisoners. If anybody actually followed the procedure, they would be not alive instantly, like dead. The only got strikes in response, except for Schwarzen, that is. I hated him. The guy seems to believe that his life is an action movie and that he's the invincible main protagonist. What? Okay. You all afraid of what? He screamed at the top of his lungs with a stupid grin across his face. We never get any action. Let's go! Okay. Before anyone could stop him, he picked up his rifle and swung the door open like a damn as he is. Since the alarm was blaring, we could hardly hear what was going on outside the corridors. For that reason, we all were rather shocked upon seeing Morgie the Corgi standing right outside. Imagine some guy walking around a clear wearing a dirty, giant, creepy dog costume. But now imagine this guy is 7 feet 2 or 2 meters and 18, with a voice that seemed so deep, raspy, and childish. That's Morgie the Corgi for you. I could see the bravado leaning Shoson's face the moment he laid eyes on the abomination in person. We've only ever seen him through a screen before. Rough. What? I always hated it when people tried to intimidate dogs, but hearing it coming from Morgie was a bit different and a lot worse. Okay, this is weird, but let me just continue before I get too weirded out and I let this thing end, okay? Before Shawson could even put his finger on the trigger, his fat head was goodbye head. Morgie began punching on other guards, effortlessly crushing limbs with his oversized paws. He had switched between running around on his feet and crawling on all fours. The last thing I saw before running out of the break room was him forcing the remaining horrified agents to play fetch with him using a stray arm. Okay, that is called a psychopath. Yeah, no, a psychopath is someone who doesn't feel anything for others. That is A crazy person. I would really not like this guy. But of course, it's not like I managed to escape anywhere better. The entire place was teasy. What's that? The squad leaders were frenetic, attempting to scrap together some kind of suppression force. I couldn't understand why they were so delusional. Are we supposed to be badass? Yeah, due to our field prowess, we were specially selected from the existing pool of CIA agents and military personnel to be dropped into this godforsaken place. Put us up against the traveling militia terrorists, etc., and we'll smoke them, whatever. But we can't deal with are things that aren't supposed to exist with this. These are things that aren't supposed to exist in the the first place. We watch creature features and slasher flicks with an inherent understanding that we're watching fiction. It's a visual catharsis for our indirect fascination with the dark and grim. It's not supposed to be real, and we have no idea how to act once we find it standing right in front of our faces. Not even us so-called elite agents, like I said. I'm not sure why they even bothered keeping guards at this place to begin with. Well, that's kind of true. Well, these were the thoughts that ran through my head as I bolted through the corridors. At one point I stumbled upon a crowd of guards leering over some rails. Shockingly, they didn't seem concerned the slightest. What are you looking at? I asked them. A guard I knew as Phantom. I turned around. This is gonna be sick, he grinned, gesturing for me to look below. I didn't even know where I was going, so I didn't realize that I had wandered into a level right above the weight room. It was a sprawling gym with an abundance of best equipment obtainable, but there was one guard that used it the most. Branko Petrovic, a Serbian-American whose oversized frame hardly makes any sense. I swear, when I first met the guy, he couldn't have been over his feet. He's around 8 pounds too, not noun. I'm quite sure that what kind of bizarre experiments they ran on him, okay? But they sure overdid it. Despite the alarms, he was in the middle of overhead pressing what appeared to be an ungodly amount of weight when one of escape voids wandered onto the weight room floor. It was loose, standing on 6'2", aka 1 meter 88, 2,000 pounds, or 93 kilograms. Like all the other prisoners, the guy was a complete mystery. His mostly bare body was comparable to that of a bodybuilder's, save for the hundreds of gnarly scars decorating his skin. The more disconcerting part of his aesthetic was the fact that he only had one half of his face. The other half consisted of his exposed skull with some kind of red electrical current running through his cranial bones. Yeah, He had that same current running through his hands, which allowed him to savagely electrocute whatever organic material he touched, quickly rendering into a pile of streaming black mush. Mush, mush, mush. I guess that my fellow agents didn't bother reading up on the prisoner as they guarded, because Branco never stood a chance. It didn't matter if you were superior to lose in terms of straight. One touch and you were gone for. The only practicable way to take him out was by using ranged weapons, and even then the task was easier said than done. Branco grunted like the idiot that he is, before grabbing an Olympic weight lifting plate and chucking it like a frisbee at loose. What? It connected, seemingly shattering his limbs, but it wasn't nearly enough to take him out. As soon as he rushed forward, the fight had been decided. Branco attempted to tackle him down. What? A mistake so bad that his whole body began twitching as his skin made contact with Lucy's fingertips. Well, that's not clever, If somebody's electric, you should not touch him. Don't touch electricity. I'm happy you learned something today. Well, the electricity spread through his giant frame, causing his vitals to shut down within seconds. In no time at all, he was reduced to a heaping mass of scorched flesh on the floor. He didn't even have the time to scream. I could see the respective faces of my stunned colleagues drop as they witnessed what they likely deemed an improbable outcome. Idiots, that's what they were. But truth be told, I was also an idiot for even bothering to stay. Not long after, the sound of cracking bones and heavy footsteps began emanating from an adjustment walkway. Along with the rest of the agents, my gaze shifted towards that. Well, what was sure to be another menace. The locked metal door of the corridor was dented from the other side. A big dent, mind you. It only took one more blow to blast it from his inches comparatively. Starting, it's like, let me be like the ones that are in Rocky and they say, let me see the chart. Standing on 6'6", aka 198 centimeters, 242 pounds, 110 kilograms, and arriving in a haze of blood, guts, and limbs was a sacrifice extracurricular colonially known as Warhead. Whatever, I'm gonna be the perfect Rocky Balboa thing that's in the next movie. Yeah, that's for sure. Incongruence with his name. His entire head, save for a single eye, was wrapped in rusty barbed wire. He wore a decrepit old red leather jacket and jeans, complete with a large proben pour-like top on top like an 80s, or whatever high school delinquent. Everybody's main concern was the weapon in his hands, a large iron but wrapped in the same barbed wire on his head. If you didn't die from the impact, unlikely, the subsequent infection would surely get you. And don't ask us why we didn't take his weapon away when we contained him. We did, but somehow, someway, he got it back. These things really can't be helped. Somehow, some way. Legend says that this guy killed somebody and got his weapon back. That's what I say. What is going on? I thought. Bridges happened, sure, but it seemed as every void has somehow escaped. Is that possible? In any case, I couldn't afford to think deep into it at this moment. Yeah, he really should run. As Wirehead began moving toward me down the mystified agents in his way, I found myself accidentally making eye contact with Luz from below. I nearly had a heart attack as I began pushing through the crowd. Even though I was implicitly certain of the fact that there was no other contagion within the Chasm that would have been safer. I was still being driven ahead by my fight or flight responses, away from the immediate threat. It was kind of funny, yeah. I had been through so many life or death experiences that my reaction to adrenaline coursing through my veins had been dulled. Well, it was sure that that I got in or something, I don't know, today. I guess that I wasn't paying enough attention to my surroundings, because right as I was about to climb a staircase, I felt an oversized arm slam into my chest, knocking me over in the process. I looked up to see another guard, Cade, leering down at me. Sure, I was happy it wasn't one of the boys, but Cade wasn't much more pleasant. What are you running for? He shot me a smart grin. This is a bridge, isn't it? Why don't we do our jobs here and fix it? What? Oh, frig off. I spat at him before trying to duck past. No luck here. He caught me by the collar and slammed me into the wall. He certainly had the weight advantage, so I didn't practice hand-to-hand combat, just to be ragdolled by some guy. I slammed my elbow down on his wrist, which managed to loosen his grip. I followed up with a knee to his stomach. What? Oh my God, we see action here. And then attempted to strike his neck. But then he caught up my wrist mid-punch. Nice moves, he said, in an obnoxiously sarcastic tone. Yeah. I took his palm and rammed into my chin. He took his... nearly caused me to black out. In the meantime, Wirehead was getting closer. Guess we'll have to take this up another time, he said. Somebody's gotta work around here. Yeah. You know? Yeah. If you want to take on this guy with the wires, I would be like, if you want to take on this guy with this wirehead thing, you can go do that. I'm gonna go the other way, okay? That's how my immediate reaction would be. I had no idea what he was thinking trying to take on one of the voids, but I wasn't trying to see his delusions through in person. Still in pain from his palm strike, I pulled myself up and began running once more, all while the surge of carnage escalated around me. Oh my God, this is not... Nobody's thinking. But there was a glaring issue. I had no idea where I was going. The exits were surely going to be blocked off from the inside. Do we have some kind of save throw? I thought to myself. No, of course we didn't. We were entirely expendable. They 100% expected us to fight these things head on, even though there was zero chance of victory on our side. They were like, you know what? No, Dad. $1,000 are more important than 50 people dying. Yeah, I'm not gonna build a safe room. You know, that seems like I'm a terrible person, like shouting, "Kill me, I'm a terrible person." There was only one thing I could do here. Survive till TFVNH showed up. Obviously, that was no kind of guaranteed reprieve, but my options were slim. Nevertheless, something rather surprisingly transpired. Amidst the cacophony of frenetic orders from our superiors, a familiar voice snuck in through my radio. "Hey, Jason, are you alive?" It was Sandhu. Yay, Sandhu. "Hello, Sandhu." I picked up my radio and isolated his transmission. "Yeah, where are you, man?" Block C got lucky and found something weird. It might save us though. Come on. Obviously, there was not much of information there, but it was better than running around aimlessly. Thankfully, Block C was fairly close, so I was able to make it without running into another void. However, once I got there, it was still as chaotic as ever. I swiveled my head around trying to spot Sandhu. I yelled into my radio, but his response was drowned by everything around me. As I searched, I began sensing a perplexing, sinister pressure that made it feel as I were sinking into the concrete beneath me. I hardly had to guess the source. It was... oh my god, these stupid names. It was Diax. It was Diax. 9'5", or about 3 meters, whatever. Question mark, pounds, question mark, kilos. Oh, he was comparable in appearance with something you'd see in the corner of your room during sleep paralysis. A hulking, faceless figure wearing a sweeping black robe that jerked around the unsettling motions as he, or she, who knows, walked. I wasn't sure how he actually killed people. Mind you, as soon as anybody got within a certain distance to him, they would freeze in place and begin bleeding from their eyes. And then they would just stay that way forever. Okay, that's creepy. Very creepy. Obviously, that wasn't something I was looking forward to, yeah. As I looked ahead, I could see some unfortunate guards already getting caught by his death zone. In an attempt to avoid his similar fate, I turned the opposite direction and started running. Then I nearly shit myself. Standing 10 feet was the undead, Nazi. The undead N8ZI. 5'8", one about 2 meters, and 65 kilograms. Okay, that's not. His name essentially told it all. A man wearing a dirty, tattered SS uniform with a cracked gas mask covering his face. In one hand he gripped his signature Kampf Messer 42 blade that was inexplicably unbreakable, no matter what tried to doing it to it. What we tried to do it we tried doing to it. In the other, he held a flamethrower hose connected to a massive tank on his back, which sprayed some kind of scorching black flame that would supposedly yield pain beyond compression if you were to ever come in contact with him. with it. Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay? You could say I was between a rock and a hard place. The only other way out, well, was taking the plunge over the rail in front of me onto a mass of scrambling bodies 50 feet below. Well, that's a good idea. I would rather go through bodies than getting killed, becoming a body, or going through bodies. Yeah. Before I considered simply saying my prayers, I left a hand tug out my sleeve from the side, giving me another heart attack. But this time it was good news. For once, I looked over to see Sandhu poking his hand out in what appeared to be some kind of hidden door in the wall. "Let's go!" he whispered shouted before pulling me in. Closed the door behind him, plunging us in complete darkness. "What is this place?" I asked, hardly expecting a detailed response. Sandhu illuminated his face using his phone's flashlight. "Couldn't tell you, but it's kinda crazy." I could hear the undead. I'm not gonna say the N-word, cause I don't want to get myself video taken down. The undead beginning to spray his flamethrower out of this corridor. I suddenly wondered whether or not Diax's power would apply to the other voids. In any case, it was better not to be in such close vicinity to them, so I followed Sandhu. He led me down to some kind of crazy hallway. The walk was rather long, maybe around 8 minutes. I eventually found myself to what appeared some kind of surveillance or control room, but it was still dark. But there was an array of monitors giving off enough light to comfortably navigate around. But here's the strange thing. The place looked kind of haphazard. No chance it was being used by the higher ups. The monitors were scattered around, connected by a mess of wires and multiple outlets spreading throughout the room. There was also only one chair. "I guess this is beyond explaining," I said. "Yeah, no." "Oh, huh," Sandra replied, before gesturing toward the monitors. "Let's check it out." What did we just find? I took the suggestion, letting my eyes drift over the screens. What I saw would have been normal in any other scenario. Each monitor was streaming a different section of the prison, all displaying the usual counterarts what's going on outside. The guards were being ripped to shreds. Some tried fighting, most running. But what they had in common was the fact that they were all obliterated by the voids. I could see the surgeon giving somebody a forced lobotomy, grinding like, but while doing so, at the same time, Morgie was chewing on several dead heads like a toy. Oh, that's called psychopathy. Yeah. When I caught something interesting on the screen below, Wirehead and Luz staring each other down. It was a rather obvious relation that hit me. Of course, the voids weren't only gonna kill guards. They were gonna go after each other as well. That much would have been apparent from the beginning, I grinned, feeling some kind of obstruction hope creeping into my system. That hope was only bolstered when I saw the undead dosing Directs with a relentless wave of black flames. Oh, they're fighting each other, with the latter struggling to move forward as a result. Guess these guys can be hard after all, I thought to myself. But of course, my hope was merely transitory. I wasn't going to kill myself. Even if one void was left standing at the end of everything, that just means it would be the strongest one of them all. And we can't stay in here forever. By this point, my future is uncertain at best. Uncertain at best. Maybe I'll get lucky, probably not. But in the meantime, I suppose I'll enjoy the show. See how things turn out. Whatever. So that's it for today's video. I'm going to see you in another one. I hope you enjoyed it. And peace out. Link in the description for the story.